Good morning and welcome to our community affairs program that we call 30 Minutes. Today, our special guest is Mr. Garrett McDaniel. He is the Obion County Extension Office Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent. Garrett, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Appreciate it. I'm proud to be here.
Well, how's the new job going there at the Extension Office?
Oh, it's going great. Staying busy, that's for sure.
Yeah. We're glad you took that position. I mean, a lot of people probably heard your news story here recently that you have taken the seat that Bob Shoemake had, and you worked there with Bob also, didn't you?
Yes. So I've been at Extension since 2020, and I was what they would call a split agent. I did some 4-H work and agriculture work, and then when Bob retired, I put in for his gig and have moved over to just doing agriculture work for the county, and they'll turn around and replace my 4-H portion with somebody else we'll hire on.
Well, congratulations again on that. As we do each week with our 30 Minutes program, we like to let our guests introduce themselves. And so, Garrett, I'll turn that over to you.
Awesome, yeah. So, my name's Garrett McDaniel. I grew up here in Obion County, out in the Crystal community. Grew up around farming. My granddad was a kind of like a part-time, small-time farmer. He had some cows and a little bit of row crop, and he worked for the FSA office, and I grew up helping him as long as I can remember. So that's kind of when I got my love for agriculture, I guess you'd say, and I'm still doing that to this day. I'm still live out there in that community, and I kind of run the farm now and kind of help guide it along, and so I do that on the side. And but graduated in 2011 from Obion County Central, and then went on to UT Martin, and I graduated in 2015 with an ag engineering degree, and then I'm pursuing my master's right now just in agriculture. So almost got that one done. I should be done in December. So almost, at over 30 years old, I'm almost done with school. So I'm looking forward to being done with it.
So your path in agriculture started a long time ago, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I was one of them kids that grew up, helping on the farm and the hayfield and stuff when I was very, very young. Just as soon as we could start driving a tractor, we started driving a tractor, and it was fun. It was great. I wouldn't trade it for nothing. So
you're planting crops yourself now?
Yes, just a little bit. I mean, that's this extension agent job. That's my main gig. But I do a little bit of row crop on the side, and then we've got some cow calf operation out there too, which I enjoy.
Still let you play in the dirt a little bit then.
That's right. I do it about every day. Every day I get off, I go out there and see what I can get into.
I know you told me before that even in some of your jobs early on, before you got in extension, they all were agriculture based. Is that not correct?
Yes. So I've never had a job that wasn't in agriculture. So when I graduated high school, I started working that summer, for an ag retailer here in the county, and continued working for them through college. I had, one internship over in Northeast Arkansas whenever I was in college that was dealing with agriculture engineering. And then when I came back, graduated, went to work in as a agronomist, salesman, and then when I left there, I worked at an ag equipment manufacturer, and then here in the county, and then I came to Extension. So I've always been in agriculture. I wouldn't know what to do if I was doing something else.
So how did the path lead to Extension, or was that something you had your sights on all along?
I wish I could say I did, but it was more luck. I kind of saw that opening. I was really involved in like the junior livestock program and 4-H and stuff like that as a kid, so I knew about Extension. But I never thought that was going to be my path in life, because I went to get an agriculture engineering degree, and I really thought that's where I wanted to go. Kind of got into that industry and figured out that maybe that's not something I wanted to do forever. And I noticed the extension job came open there in 2020, and I luckily went after it and was lucky enough to get it. And, it's kind of funny. I really had no idea what all extension, entailed until I took that job, and it's been a blessing ever since then. So I wish I could say I had my sights set on that from a young kid, but I didn't. It was kind of happenstance. It happens like it's supposed to.
No looking back since you've been with Extension either, is it?
No. I love it to death. Absolutely great job. Get to work with all these people in the county that I've known since I was young. I know all these stakeholders and farmers and producers and volunteers. I've known everybody, and I love working with them. I love it to death. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
Well, let's kind of simplify it for people that are listening today that may not be familiar with it. Just explain exactly what is UT Extension.
Yeah, so some I would say the best way to describe it is it's the outreach arm of the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. So we are how the UTIA, that's what I'll call it. We're how that research and their programs and things like that make it to local county people, individuals. So UTIA has got programs in agriculture, obviously in 4-H, family and consumer science, community economic development, and they're doing all these great things as far as research projects and doing not only research on agriculture but nutrition and all kinds of other things, doing all that sorts of stuff, and somehow that's got to make its way down to to regular old county people here, and we're kind of the in between. We're how that gets there, I guess you'd say. So we do everything from programs to educational events to showing off the research that people are doing in all of these nutrition and health classes, all kinds of stuff. Obviously all the 4-H stuff, the clubs, the the livestock shows, what else? The judging teams, all the extracurricular activities. So that's kind of how everything that they're doing at the UTIA makes its way into Obion County. We're kind of that, and there's an office like ours in every county, in all 95 counties.
And although you work for the county, you work for the university. Is that right?
That's right. So we're split. So University of Tennessee pays a portion of our funding, our budget, and then the county pays a portion of our funding as well. So we're kind of split.
Now, at one time, you were not with UT. You explained that one.
Yeah, so that makes it, even if you don't know about extension, it makes it a little bit more complicated because there's UT extension and Tennessee State extension. So they work together. And basically what that is when I was in my former job as I was a split agent, I worked for Tennessee State University. And that's purely because we have 2 land-grant universities in the state. They kind of work together with the cooperative extension service. That way you're not working against each other, you're working with everybody. So you'll have some people who might be TSU employees, some people might be UT employees, but you're all under one roof working together. The only difference is where your paycheck's coming from. So it's just a way to group resources together to kind of help further progress. You don't want to be going against each other, in the same program areas. So it's kind of a good way to work together.
So how many people actually work in the office here in Union City?
Yeah, so we have got, let's see, we'll have, when we're fully staffed, 4 agents and our admin, Miss Bobby. So she's the the glue that holds us all together. So we'll have our county director currently is Rebecca Surratt. Mm-hmm. She's the family consumer science agent. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have Julie Harson. She's the full-time 4-H agent. Mm-hmm. And we've got my old position, which was formerly a split agent. It will actually turn into a 100% 4-H position. So we're going to have, that one's vacant right now, but we'll have 2 4-H agents. And then me, and I'll be the only ag agent. So I'll be the ag agent in the county. So we've got 5, and we're one down right now, but hopefully that'll be filled very soon.
How big is 4-H?
Oh, it's insane. I'll tell you, I went this past March to 4-H Congress as like a state assignment. That was just shortly there before I started this ag job. And that was kind of like the state convention of 4-H. And just to see the impact that it's had on those kids up there, these are very, high-performing 4-Hers when they go up there. They are in it to win it. They are doing all these projects, doing all these groups. They are, just to see the impact that they have on a state level was really neat. Now, when you get back into the county level, every 4th through 8th grader is seeing 4-H once a month. So we've got probably 1,800 4-Hers in the county, So everybody's getting it once a month, 5 times a year, so during the school year. So it's really great. They can do that in school, and then you've got all this after-school stuff, all these judging teams, anything from forestry to livestock to all kinds of stuff. So they can do all the extracurricular activities as well. So it's fantastic. I mean, I grew up in 4-H, and it had a really good positive impact on my young life. So I'm a big fan.
So that helped you to move into that position. You had a lot of experience by being in 4-H.
Yes, it made it for an easy transition. That, growing up in the county, growing up through that program, and then growing up in the ag community, somewhat working in the ag community and things like that, made for a pretty easy transition for me. It's been pretty good.
That's fantastic. And you also, at your office there, you offer so many items, so many bits of information to help just the general public, from gardens to what have I asked over the years through there? Bagworms in trees.
That's right.
You never know what you're going to be asked, do you?
Every day's different. Every day's different. So as an ag agent, I cover anything from turf grass management questions, forestry, horticulture, landscape, and then obviously with, as big as agriculture is, row crop and livestock and things like that. So I can get a variety of questions every day. And we can help out with all sorts of stuff. And that's the good thing is we kind of call ourselves generalists. I'm an ag agent. I'm kind of a generalist in every specialty. I know a little bit about a lot, but the good thing is if you come and ask me a question maybe about your tomatoes, or if you've got a sassafras tree that's having some issues, or you've got a weed that you can't get killed in your soybean field, you come to me and ask. I may not know off the top of my head, but we've got specialists at Jackson, at Knoxville that know that you can, and they're just a phone call or a text message away. I do it all the time. I might go to a homeowner visit and we've got something going on with their garden or with their trees. I say, hey, let me get some pictures, let me get some info. I talk to our horticulture specialist in Jackson, we've got it resolved, and it's a fantastic resource. And not only you've got a live person to talk to, through that specialist, but we also have publications that are not only for problems, but for helping you learn how to do that, So we'll have publications on all sorts of horticulture, health and nutrition, agriculture, all sorts of stuff, man. And we've got just infinite resources, it seems like. And it's just kind of how we get all that research and all that information, back to the regular consumer.
You talk about reaching out to others for information. Have you had people reach out to you for information to help them also?
Oh yeah, all the time. Every time I go somewhere, somebody sees me out and say, "Hey, what do I need to do about this right here?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let me find out." Good thing is I've got those resources I can look back at. But we, obviously, general public work with them a lot, but we also partner with all kinds of other community organizations that help. So anything from Farm Bureau to all the volunteers in the county, Tennessee Department of Ag, all sorts of stuff like that. We partner with a lot of people to help offer all these programs and information and research to the general public. So
I was surprised one day when I was in there talking with Bob Choate, the former agriculture director there, that he was going to go and look at someone's pond. Mm-hmm. So you even do that also?
Oh, absolutely. I actually did that yesterday. I went on a pond visit yesterday. Somebody had some algae and some issues with their pond going on. Yeah. And that's another one of those instances where I go out there, we're looking at it, I'm saying, well, let's see if I can get our pond specialist for West Tennessee on the phone. I call him up. He said, yep, I bet it's probably this, and this. I send him some pictures. And there we go. And when I left there, I kind of left that homeowner with some things that they could do to, maybe help their situation, get rid of the algae in their pond, kind of some steps that they could do to resolve that. So that was just a perfect example of that. But yeah, we do ponds as well, all kinds of stuff.
Again, today we are speaking with Mr. Garrett McDaniel. He is the Obion County Extension Agriculture and Natural Resource Agent. It's always a pleasure to speak with Garrett. Of course, your office is available to all the public to come in for information. Do the people come in?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I enjoy talking to people there. We've got people coming in and out all the time. And if you don't know where we're at, it's 302 South 3rd Street, just north of the courthouse. And if you need to call us, I'll go ahead and give you that while we're talking about it. It's 885-3742. So if you need any information, give us a call. But we have people all the time come in. I mean, if you've got something going on with a plant, with a tree, with something, bring it in. I mean, Lord, there's all kinds of stuff comes in the office sometimes. People bring in, branches of trees or leaves or tomato plants, maybe when they're smaller or something, they've got something going on, they'll bring the piece of that tomato plant or pepper plant in or something. So, yeah, we do stuff like that all the time.
What a great resource. And people within your office and yourself, too, not only wait for people to come in to you, you all get out and do programs also, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that's a big part of our outreach. So I know we're putting on all sorts of, every agent is putting on programs. Somebody's doing a program all the time, might be something to do with health and nutrition. Maybe it's, our family and consumer science agent, Rebecca, just did like a kids in the kitchen, kind of teaching kids how to cook and handle cutlery and stuff like that at the library. Put stuff like that on. Obviously, 4-H has always got stuff going on. They just got back from camp. Something that we've got coming up, and I wanted to make sure, and we talked about it today, is just an example of some of the programs we put on. Is we're putting on a soybean scout school here in Obion County, and it's really like a Northwest Tennessee thing. It's not just an Obion County thing, but it's going to be July 17th at Obion Farmers Co-op here in Union City. It's going to start at 9 o'clock and go to 11:30. But that is when we will have multiple specialists. We're going to have an entomologist, our West Tennessee weed specialist, pathologist. Everybody's going to be here talking about what farmers can look at when they're scouting soybeans. Kind of teach them what bugs they're looking for, what they can do to control them, what weeds they're looking at, what they can do to control them, because that's obviously a hot button topic, in production ag right now is weed pressure. So we're going to be doing that July 17th in joint with the Tennessee Soybean Promotion Board, and Obion Farmers Co-op was gracious enough to let us use their facilities, and I think they're going to sponsor some refreshments and stuff like that. So it's going to be a really good hands-on event for people in Northwest Tennessee to come and get face-to-face with specialists who are the people that I call when I need answers on something. So that's just an example of programs we do. We do things like that, maybe not every year, but here pretty regularly. We're going to do, we've got other things like Milan No-Till Field Day down at Milan. That's every other year. That's an example of an extension program. That's a really big event. Might do something that's like, I know last winter we did a planter clinic down in Lexington. So we do a lot of programs like that in ag that are kind of aimed at the farmer, aimed at getting them in front of somebody that knows a lot about agriculture, entomology, whatever, so they can kind of learn. There are some things that we do annually, some programs that we help with, like the Master Beef program, Master Row Crop program, and that's kind of an educational program that comes along with a certification. And when you get that certification, you can apply for cost share dollars through whether it be Tennessee Department of Ag programs or maybe USDA programs. That kind of certification helps you to get some more cost share dollars for your farm and kind of take advantage of some opportunities for, funding and other ways to help. So we kind of partner with TDA on things like that. So that's also, we got something going on all the time. There's all sorts of programs.
I know when Tim Smith was the agriculture director, they used to have a wintertime program at Boyette's every year. Was it one or two nights? And I would see where certain points were, you were given certain points for coming to that. Do y'all still do things like that?
Oh, yeah. So that's farm school down at Boyette's is like the longest running agriculture meeting in the state or something, But it's, you offer pesticide points and things like that when you have meetings like that. Like this Soybean Scout School here next week, we'll also offer meetings for private applicators and commercial applicators. And that's, I'm glad you brought that up. That's another thing we do as ag agents is we help the Tennessee Department of Ag, we help them certify producers. So all the row crop producers or ag retailers or applicators all have to be certified, as a commercial applicator or a private applicator, or a crop scout and stuff like that. So we offer classes to certify them and get that, and kind of we're the boots on the ground. TDA is obviously in Nashville, but we're in every county, so they utilize us for things like that. So I do that every winter. We do a certification before the growing season starts. They can come in there, re-up their certifications, get ready to go for the year. But, you have to earn points to keep those. So things like Boyette's, like the farm school at Boyette's every February, and other meetings, we offer points at them too. So that's another way, for ag retail employees and farmers to kind of keep up with their pesticide stuff.
What a great place to have a meeting at Boyette's. I mean, that's kind of...
Oh, absolutely. It's a big draw.
Tim always said it was a big crowd. I can totally understand that.
I won't never forget. I'm gonna tell a story on Tim. Whenever I started in 2020, obviously COVID was going on, and we had to make that thing virtual. And the first time I saw Tim out after we had told him, it kind of got out, we was going to have to do that virtually over Zoom, over the computer. He said, "Well, are y'all going to virtually send us some, fish and hush puppies and stuff like that?" I said, "Lord, no, Tim," but it was hilarious. I had to tell that one on there. That was pretty funny.
That's a good one. Virtual fish and hush puppies.
Yeah, virtual Boyette's.
That is a good one. Now, back to the Soybean Scout School that's coming up July 17th. What do people need to do if they would like to attend?
Just show up, man. We've kind of blasted it out on our social media page and email, and I know Co-op has as well. No RSV required. There's going to be some light refreshments. There won't be lunch or nothing like that. So no RSVP required. Just show up and learn. There's going to be some things you can take with you, like weed manuals, insect manuals, some sweep nets, some magnifying glasses, so you can look at bugs and stuff up close and see what you got going on. So there's going to be some, not giveaways, but take-home materials, So just show up, come learn with us, ask questions. We're going to have, it's kind of rare that I get all these specialists in one place in Obion County, so it's hard to get them all gathered up sometimes because they're all so busy doing all their research and their other meetings. So, because they are statewide specialists. So, but it's going to be a great event.
That's fantastic. Well, all right. In your new position, give us some information. Corn is looking good now.
Yeah, we've got it's a widespread. I'm gonna say this has been kind of a wild spring. I don't remember in recent memory of May being that wet, and there was some people who got out in front of that in April, got some of that corn planted on time, and that corn looks fantastic. If you're able to get your corn planted and get it fertilized, get it laid by a little bit before all that rain started in May, you're in a really good spot. Now, there's been some that had to be planted after that. That corn will still make fine. There's not going to be anything wrong with that corn, but a lot of it's looking good. Now, I will say I think corn acres may be down a little bit. Early soybeans have kind of taken over. I'd say we have more people participating in that, and for good reason. They do really well. So some of those people maybe have planted some more soybeans up front, maybe a little bit less corn, and then when you get into a wet May, some people may have pulled back on their corn acres a little bit, which is just part of the deal, part of the spring, kind of how it went. But I think we're going to have a pretty decent crop if we keep getting some rains.
You see corn that's over the top of your head, and then you see corn in some fields that's waist high. So you can definitely tell the difference.
Absolutely,
in the planting part.
And a lot of that's been, not only not being able to get in the field consistently in May and or some replants. You kind of get into a situation where you got some stuff get flooded out in May. You got to go back in there and replant it. You don't really have a choice. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. But I think if we keep, this, obviously we need some rain, right? We needed a little bit of rain. It was starting to get a little bit dry. I don't want us, to get 4 or 5 inches, out of this hurricane. But I think we needed a little bit, and if we can keep getting some rains into August, I think we'll have a pretty good crop. I really hope so.
We know how July can be. It can dry up, but we have had a couple little timely rains to come through to help out a little bit.
Yeah, it's been just very few and far between where I really think we've been dry, and that's been in spots. I don't think it's been a county-wide thing. Last few years, it's been really wild to me to see the variation in the county as far as rainfall, soil conditions, things like that. As an example, we were talking about earlier, we got 0.8 of a rain in Crystal last week. They got 3 inches in Troy. That ain't that far from each other, you know. So things like that make it challenging, to see what it's doing. But I think bad thing about July is when it gets hot, it can dry it up real fast. So that's one thing we got to watch. It can get dry in a hurry when you get into the heat like it has been.
Are all the soybeans planted now? I know we've had some late planting.
Yeah, I would say they've all been planted at least once. I think you're gonna have some replants. I think there's very few acres that haven't been planted. I wouldn't say every soybean's been planted in the county, but just almost every one of them have been planted. So and we've got some, like we were talking about, that wild spread. I've got some that were planted in May. Very few were planted in March, but a lot of them were planted in April. You're talking about beans that are blooming, almost fixing to start setting pods. And then you got some that are 3-4 inches tall, or that just got planted maybe right after that wheat. So it's a widespread. It's going to be a crazy fall, I think.
But it's no doubt about it. Early soybeans are becoming a big trend here.
Yes.
It used to, you started planting all corn, then you transitioned to beans, but a lot of people are starting out planting soybeans now.
Yeah, and that's I think it's proven to be a really worthy task. Soybeans obviously are operating off daylight and day length and things like that. So if you can get a soybean in the ground and take advantage of those long summer days there around the summer solstice, they figured out that they can really add some bushels. And a soybean is a little bit less, or is a little bit more tolerant to adverse conditions than a corn plant. So when you're planting corn, conditions need to be right, right moisture, right depth, right soil temp, things like that. Soybeans can take a little bit of a beating. They can still come out. So I think people realize that maybe if we're going to plant early in the year when soil conditions aren't optimal, maybe we should try throwing some soybeans in the ground, get them blooming ahead of that summer solstice, and really put some bushels on, and then maybe wait and plant our corn when it's optimal and when it's right, when you want to plant it. Now, then you run into a year like this year when it starts raining the last week of April and it'll stop. So then you kind of get into a pickle sometimes. But overall, I think the early soybeans, and there's been some university data that shows, that's a big thing, and I think it's going to continue. I think that trend's going to continue.
Yeah. But corn is king in Obion County.
Oh yeah, so we're top 3, top 5 every year in corn. We're very blessed with some great soils in this part of the world to produce some very high quality, high yielding corn.
Yeah.
So it's almost like we're like a little pocket of the Midwest down here in Tennessee, and I really believe that. So we're pretty lucky. But I think when you're talking about a top 5 ag producing county in the state every year, hands down, it's one of these Northwest Tennessee counties just about every year.
A lot of times number one.
Yes, a lot of times we're number one. It's like we kind of go in between the top 3 with maybe Gibson or Dyer or somebody like that. So we're kind of always jockeying for position up there. But yeah, it's been kind of a eye-opening experience to see when you go to other parts of the country how much less row crop there is, or how different it is. So it's when you're a Obion County kid, kind of growing up in here, this is normal to you. But when you go other parts of the world, it changes your perspective a little bit.
Absolutely. Okay, we got to get in some information. You are going to still help with the Obion County Junior Livestock Program this year, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, I'll be helping with it forever. It's been such a long program. This will be the 72nd year, I believe, of that program. I did it for all 9 years when I was a kid. I really love that program, and that's probably my biggest task every year is doing that, and that goes along with my old, job title. And if we get somebody hired in, they will probably end up taking the lead on that, but I'll be helping it because I enjoy that program. And we're looking forward to doing it again this year. We've got, about the same number of total kids. We're looking at about 80, 81, I think, like that. But we've got a few more animals. We got a few more kids showing more than one animal this year. So we'll have a few more animals, even though we'll have the same number of kids. So it's going to be a really good program. We've got a few more steers. We've got a bunch of hogs like usual, a good number of lambs. So, and it's been a decent year to grow them so far. Now we're fixing to get into the dog days of summer where, it gets kind of tough raising market animals when it gets hot like that. You got to keep them cool, but I think we've had pretty good luck so far.
There's no doubt about it. The livestock program is such a major factor for the Obion County Fair. Would you say that's true?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you think about the junior livestock, you think about the fair, and vice versa.
Hand in hand.
It's been going on forever. And we've raised, this program's raised a lot of money for kids throughout the years. I mean, I want to say it's over $2 million last time I looked at it. And every year, it seems like here lately, the community's been showing off. They just keep supporting it and keep supporting it. And I know times have been tough since COVID, and the community just doesn't back off. They keep supporting those kids, which I love. I mean, that project means a lot to me, being a kid that did it and being kind of, somebody that raises, livestock myself. It's good for a kid to learn that kind of responsibility and learn that kind of lesson in life that maybe sometimes things are out of your control. You can do everything you can do, and sometimes it doesn't go your way. So I think that's a really great program and had a good effect on me. So for the community to keep supporting that program, really means a lot to me, and I think it's very great. It's a very great thing that they do. So I'm looking forward to it again this year, that's for sure.
Well, Garrett, again, we say congratulations on your new job, new position with Obion County Extension. And as we are just about to run out of time for today's program, let the people know again how they can reach you if they have questions or need information.
Yeah, so just call us at 885-3742 or come by the office at 302 South 3rd Street. And you can also get online and just Google UT Extension and hit Obion County, and it'll give you a direct link to our emails where you can email me or any of the other agents and ask questions on anything you got. So just holler at us if you need something.
Well, we sure appreciate what you do for us here at Thunderbolt Broadcasting with your help and information about agriculture, and we'll call on you quite a bit, and we thank you for what you do.
Well, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
And that concludes this week's 30 Minutes program. We hope you enjoyed today's show. And, of course, we invite you to tune in again next week at this same time as we bring you topics and information of importance to our community. From all of us here at Thunderbolt Broadcasting, until we meet again next week, I'm Charles Choate.
You've been listening to 30 Minutes, a community affairs program on Thunderbolt Radio. You can listen to this broadcast and others anytime by visiting thunderboltradio.com and following the Thunderbolt Radio and Digital YouTube page. Thanks for listening.